Galactus, right?
Nova's a guy who's a part of the Nova Corps.
It's like Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I thought there was a Herald of Galactus named Nova.
Maybe Supernova, I believe. I don't remember. But no, as someone who's never read Dan Abnett, let me give you the Eisenhorn trilogy.
Okay.
It is fantastic. And then once you read the Eisenhorn trilogy and you read the Ravener trilogy, it's even better.
And then they just saw that he wrote another book that's Ravener and Eisenhorn together battling. It's coming out in like 3 months.
Oh, and there's also audio books that he's written about Ravener and Eisenhorn, which I believe I gave.
Yeah.
Audiobook. Yeah, there's an idea.
He's just great.
I'm down to the last book in the Codex Alera by Jim Butcher, and I'm looking at what my next audiobook is going to be. Maybe I'll grab some Dad Abnett.
You'll not be disappointed.
No, Dan Abnett will grab you.
It depends on who's reading it and how good a job they do.
So yes, we are Dan Abnett fanboys. That's definitely true. But those who haven't read him, do it and just see how good he really is.
It blew my mind when we were reading all the 40K stuff, and then you pick up a comic and it has his name as the author. I'm thinking, does this guy ever sleep?
Right.
No.
And
he's epileptic, which means he's had to cut down on his workload.
This is how much I love Dan Abnett. Whenever I read that, I cried.
Yeah,
I
me
felt
too.
so bad for him because he's just this great guy who's just not getting his props, and like this horrible thing happens to him.
Right.
The Gonskos series, book 15 or 14 is coming out soon. I've read them all. The first omnibus I will read and then give to someone and then go buy another copy and tell them to keep it. And most people have gone and bought
to share things that
absolutely.
are great.
That and Neuromancer, I do that.
I think
with
that's actually more kind of a gamer, I don't know, I wouldn't say philosophy, more of a trait.
Yeah.
It's a gamer trait. You know, you want your friends to enjoy the things that you find, and you're like, man, this is so cool.
That's
Check
a lot of the
this
reason
out.
why we do this.
I just read this in a Cracked article today. It was like 5 favors that people offer you that you don't want, and sharing things is one of them.
Well, I can understand that with like syphilis, but
No, that's true of us going way back.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, I never would have dreamed of picking up The Hobbit and then consequently The Lord of the Rings if we hadn't started playing D&D, just based on me sitting down and watching you guys doing it. And when I saw that copy of The Hobbit laying there and picked it up, and I mean, just took off from there. And it's been, I mean, we're always throwing books back and forth to each other. Dude, you need to read this.
Speaking of books, to go on a mild tangent.
We're like 3 deep by now.
Yeah.
We're never going to talk about superhero RPGs again at this point.
We are balls deep in tangent right now.
All right, this one.
Who is she?
Okay,
Go ahead, Craig.
It's contemporary action novels. It's written by a guy named Dalton Fury. He wrote a book called Killing Bin Laden. He was Delta Force. He was in the first hunt for Bin Laden in the mountains of Afghanistan, and he's now writing fiction books. And the first
So when
one,
he writes, it's real.
yes, the first one, Black Site, I read in about a day. It's very good. The second one's coming out soon. I recommend them. If you'd like to borrow my copy, I will want it back, but I'll let you use it.
Are you offering to loan it to listeners?
No, anyone at the table. If a listener wants it, I recommend you go buy it.
Support the man. Okay, line in the sand. Back to superhero RPGs.
Yes.
And why Steve Kenson is awesome.
And Steve Kenson. There's another.
There's something I've been wanting to bring up that we haven't really touched on yet. And it's like Steve Kenson, Dad, all those guys are great. But here's the thing: about Mutants and Masterminds is that I like is that it's its own world.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you're playing DC heroes or Marvel or whatever, it's like you've either got the compulsion to either want to play as Superman or Spider-Man or what have you,
right,
or interact with those characters,
rub elbows with powerful NPCs.
Exactly. If you read Marvel at all, you know that like everything in the world happens in New York City.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you don't know how any crime could ever get done because there's so many superheroes flying around.
Right.
And it's the same with Metropolis and Gotham City.
Of all the superhero games we've played, the only game that we've played for a long period of time is Mutants and Masterminds.
Right. And we've played it different ways. We've played. Yeah. I ran a kind of a gritty superhero group, and then we played Hero High.
I missed those guys.
Well, that was when we were really learning the game, and we'd just come off of playing D&D for a long time, and we started playing it, and I wanted it to be gritty and real, and then Woodside takes the improved critical like 6 times.
Yes.
And shows you why gritty and real in a comic book world doesn't work. Right. Yeah. And so that's kind of...
we spent like 4 turns trying to subdue this powerhouse type character. Woodside jumps up and chops his damn head off.
Right. And then we moved on to a more of a lighthearted Hero High, which we talk about the Hero High campaign.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a blast.
And it's because we did it for like a year and a half, or something like that.
Was it just a year and a half? I thought it was like 2 years.
We'd started it when Eric was first going back to school,
right?
Yeah,
and Eric was going to be there.
That's why it was so great, because Eric wasn't there.
Well, it makes me feel good that you said that, Dan, because usually say that when I'm not here.
We always say it when you're not here.
Equal opportunity offender.
Well, the Mutants and Masterminds game is just a parody of all the mainstream comics.
Yeah, that's how you ran it.
treated the campaign like a
It's
parody,
Image.
like Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Lighthearted.
definitely a lot of Venture Brothers in it.
I'm waiting for the Mutants and Masterminds Venture Brothers source book.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
that smells like a Kickstarter.
It does.
I loved
Somebody out there has to know one of the guys.
Jackson Pollock or Doc Hammer.
Right.
Those guys are
I
awesome.
named my character after Doc Hammer.
Yes, you did. That's true.
You know? Jackson Hammerstein.
I think the thing that I love the most about that game, Mike, that because you ran it, was you would throw a villain at us. I loved trying to figure out who his Marvel, DC, or whatever counterpart would be. I just loved it. I mean, they were basically pastiches sometimes of some characters, and sometimes there was something that you just completely come up with on your own.
I wasn't always parodying comic books. Sometimes I was parodying celebrities and things. Not
Yes.
Yeah.
Mindy Mohan.
And what was
the most useless character ever.
who was the guy? I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that mixed Star Trek and Star Wars.
Fanboy.
Yes, I
Geek.
love that.
Uber Geek.
Yeah,
that's right. It was Uber Geek.
that was awesome.
and I didn't even make that one up.
Well, that was part of the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you gave him life, Mike.
Totally.
No other
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah, like a karate gi and a lightsaber and a phaser.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be like Luke Skywalker's Tatooine.
Yeah.
Well, and the last time you ran it for the Monday game, you had the Shotokan Kid.
Yeah.
So, but that's everybody.
And you guys ruined that whole story arc, by the way,
Why?
by throwing your superpowered characters into the karate tournament.
Oh well.
You stole his win completely.
I played.
Rang dang do.
I played Rang Dang Do,
Yes.
a knockoff of.
Every Jackie Chan character.
Well, no, actually, I was a knockoff of
Hong Kong Fooey?
Iron Fist.
Oh.
The Immortal Iron Fist, which is a
Tournament character. He did tournaments.
well, yeah, but that whole series of comics was,
That reboot a couple years ago.
Ed Brubaker did that, and it was
good.
fantastic.
Yeah, you
And-
loaned me the first trade of that. It was great.
I take full credit for that. I turned you on to that.
Yeah, and Ed Brubaker is one of those other ones that's very unheralded. But yeah, he was a knockoff of Iron Fist, and I wasn't going to join a kung fu or a karate competition. Give me a break.
Yeah, but it was like you joined a karate competition as a superhero with regular dudes.
Hey,
It's not his
This
fault.
is
fault.
the game session where my speedster did nothing but sit there and watch. I didn't say one word the entire time until I looked at Mike and said, "Mike, I go out and I take all the whatever they were called." Viper Kai's motorcycles apart in the parking lot at super speed. I run out, I take them all apart, and I come back inside.
It's like, I'm playing a character who's a normal dude, a Batman type character with gadgets, and I'm training this other regular dude to beat up on his regular dude bullies, and then the super squad joins the tournament and beats everybody's ass,
well,
rendering the whole character arc pointless.
you do
got the
realize
girl, though.
You do realize that I didn't even win that tournament.
Yeah, it was
Jay won that tournament.
Yes, I know.
Because and what was his character's name? I forgot.
Ping pong.
Ping Pong.
Pong,
That's
yes.
right. He was a Chinese kid who
He's based on Chen Po from Mulan. So he was just this big fat dude who didn't really attack all that much, but he could absorb a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And heal. So
yeah, and that's
he was all set.
What a boring fight.
And he
Yes.
could calm everyone down by making you chant with him.
And that's Jay for you. I'm just surprised he wasn't playing another werewolf.
Well, I think all of these story arcs and these characters that we're talking about really exemplify what I love about superhero campaigns and systems is that you can do anything that you want.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the sky is literally the limit, and even then, I mean, somebody else is going to come up with things that you've never even thought of before.
I was actually really concerned playing that character and what my effectiveness was going to be, because most of my equipment was just out of the equipment page.
Right.
I was actually pretty effective. I was certain that I was going to get smushed.
And then you talk about there's different types of the superhero genre where you can do a street level superheroes,
Vigilantes.
Vigilantes.
And so Greg ran a Vigilantes game for us. That was our first dose of.
Would you
hero
equate
system.
your campaign to a Punisher type?
It was
situation?
Punisher. It was more Punisher, less Batman. There are no
everybody
real
was
costume
broke.
vigilantes. Well, they started broke, but after you kill a few drug dealers, you tend to come up with some money.
You've been adjusted.
Yes. Mike's character, the fired insurance adjuster based off the mastermind from Leverage.
Yes. Which now that I've
falling
seen all of the
down.
leverages, that could have been a really much better character.
Which is why I based your character mostly off the fighter from that.
Yeah, the hitter.
Yeah, the hitter.
Which
And,
is, I love that character in that show.
Yeah, I played Butcher Boy, a homicidal 10-year-old boy.
a sociopathic 10-year-old
Yes. Who
with a meat cleaver.
I got to play in this a little bit. I played the homeless guy.
You played the homeless guy, who was he was a character that Greg had in mind, and you totally really took him off the rails.
Basically off Rorschach from Watchmen.
Okay.
Martial artist.
Which he then took in a completely wrong direction.
Yes.
As Jason tends to do.
He took it from Rorschach to
I'll do anything for a crack rock homeless guy.
So he was just playing a homeless guy.
Yeah.
As horrible as that sounds.
I think I was using Damon Wayne's homeless guy as inspiration.
from Don't Be a Menace.
I carry my own facilities.
You know who started that, by the way? It was Woodside, because the game session before
Woodside can ruin anything.
the game session before that, we picked up the homeless guy, and Woodside was playing a character called Gay Bacon, which is
I almost killed his character 6 times on purpose.
which of course is based off of Epic Food,
Epic Mealtime.
Epic
That's how I
Mealtime.
took my character. I was playing Muscles Glasses.
Muscles Glasses, and we had Gay Bacon. For those of you who don't know what Epic Mealtime is, I'll put a
Look
link
it up
there,
on YouTube.
and you'll see these guys are fantastic.
Unless you are a vegetarian, then I do not recommend that you watch.
Or just a lover of eating regular sized meals.
Or quite possibly just a decent human being. But I love it.
There's nothing wrong with booze and bacon in the same dish. All right.
So,
They made a meat Christmas tree, and the garland was chicken McNuggets. It was great.
but his character was named Gay Bacon, which he took literally, and
And what is gay bacon?
He was a male prostitute. And
A serial killer.
Serial killer male prostitute.
right.
You ever think to yourself, Greg, that your friends have problems?
Hey, he said I want to play a character named Gay Bacon. I was the one who made it. I made all the characters.
The thing here is, Dan, that Greg has problems.
So, but the funny thing
Go
was,
back.
But
The
everyone
name
knows
makes
this.
the character.
The
I know,
VA
right.
knows this.
I know how to deal with your problem, which is why I remain safe.
The week before that, the week before Jason played that character was when we picked him up, and Gay Bacon picks him up, and all of a sudden he's like, Greg, you were like, well, what are you going to do? And Woodside's like, well, I'm going to give the homeless guy a back rub. And we were like, what? so he totally and then of course when Jason comes the next week, we tell him that story, and then all of a sudden it's now I'll suck you off for a crack rock, So it
I'm not saying that on mic.
You don't have to.
Which
Don't have to.
I don't like to be a killer GM. I don't.
You killed my guy.
I made things difficult. People did get hurt. But that character took an AK on full auto to the face.
There's not a lot of coming back from that.
No.
Not in a street level
I would like to
campaign.
think, though, that the brief time that I did play that character, I did bring something to the game that has probably never been done before. And that's
This is true.
Hobo throwing stars.
Yeah. And the thing also you need to realize is, in that one game session you were there, you brought more to the table than Woodside did in the entire 3 months he sat at the table.
Take that, Woodside.
Playing on his iPad, trying not to roll dice
and
in a game session.
it was based on Jason's character that we started, because the whole theme of the campaign was, or the adventure was, that someone was offing bums, and that we ended up recruiting a whole truckload of bums because for some reason
We had. In an earlier game, we had busted up a mob armory.
Yes.
And we just threw anything we could at this group of bums that they could carry on their person.
right.
You made an army of bums.
Yes,
did.
and we
Yes,
called
they
it
did.
Operation Bum Rush.
That I mean, you're horrible people.
Nothing but
It
class.
gets better.
We assaulted a black clinic
Yes.
that were doing these experiments on people with Operation Bum Rush.
Yes.
Operation Bum Rush was a complete success.
Which worked until some of the bums tried to rape one of the nurses. And
Yes.
then
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like we
turned
did something the night that I was there that I thought was totally against being vigilantes. It seemed to be whatever we were doing was, I know vigilantism is usually not really all that good at all, but
Okay.
I'm trying to straddle the fence there.
Right.
But it seems like there's something we did that night that was like really bad, like evil.
I remember distinctly.
I
there
have
was,
yet to hear anything good out of these.
oh no, these were terrible, terrible people.
Oh yeah, they were a large group of misfits and sociopaths run by
My 10-year-old's battle cry before he started hatcheting people with this
Meat
meat
cleaver.
cleaver was, "Are you my dad?"
Oh, God.
Scream, "Are you my dad?" and then match
Got
you.
problems.
So
There was one point in the game